Prison, the ultimate lockup. By the time a criminal reaches their new home behind bars, the courtroom hearings have concluded and they're as good as trapped for the remainder of their sentence. Right? Well, in most cases, yes. However, these 7 cases prove that with enough tenacity, planning, and just sheer will and courage, a swift exit is sometimes still possible. From wild, bold moves to premeditated deliberation, these 7 criminals escape prison in a manner so wild and creative, it makes you wonder if they're brilliantly dumb or just plain brilliant. Starting things off at number 7. Let's take a look at the amazing shrinking man. Choi Gap-Bok, a South Korean man in his early 50s, was arrested by police officials on suspicion of burglary and robbery charges. Being in and out of the prison system his entire life, Gapbok was no stranger to incarceration. However, since his mid-20s, he'd become a devout yoga practitioner. After being held up in his cell, Gapbok asked guards for skin ointment, implying that he'd like some privacy, which he was granted. However, instead of using the lotion for other things, he covered himself in the slippery stuff and jammed his 5'4" self through the narrow food slot located on the outside of his door. Although he was caught 6 days later and also put into a holding cell with a much smaller slot, you can't help but commend this contortionist criminal for some solid effort. Getting a bit more creative, these 3 co-conspirators make their way to our number 6 slot. Keith Rose, Andrew Roger, and Matthew Williams, 3 fellow inmates from Parkhurst Prison located in the UK, broke free by fashioning their own tools, including a 25-foot ladder, a working gun, and even a key that was capable of unlocking every door in the prison facility, rumored to be carved entirely by memory. Officials think the intricate grooves were mentally memorized by the inmates by studying the guards' key rings and manufactured in the prison's sheet metal shop. By simply walking out of the gym door, cutting a hole through the inner fence, and scaling the outer fence with their handcrafted ladder, the trio was able to bafflingly slip past security completely unnoticed. After 4 days of hiding in a shed on an airfield, as part of a plan to then steal an airplane and make the final getaway, the 3 were finally apprehended and brought back, but not without some impressive moves. Getting away via chopper, this aviation-loving Frenchman comes in at number 5. Pascal Payet, a French criminal incarcerated for murder that followed a botched security van robbery attempt, devised an elaborate plan after noticing the exercise yard sitting atop a prison roof, a common occurrence for European lockups. In 2001, Payet instructed some friends who had stolen a hijacked helicopter to pick him up on the roof, making a clean getaway, even returning 2 years later to the same prison with another stolen helicopter to pick up 3 more friends on the inside. After being arrested again in 2007, he somehow managed to escape a second prison in France by the same way, this time forcing the pilot to fly them to the Mediterranean before letting him go and disappearing. Unlike some other criminals on this list, this crafty criminal actually made a complete escape. This physically agile inmate takes our number 4 spot on the list. Derrick Estell, a 34-year-old Florida man incarcerated at the Garland County Detention Center, devised a devious plan with his girlfriend, her mother, and others to break out and flee the prison complex. Following a court appearance and transfer to a new facility, 58-year-old William Harding distracted deputies on duty, while Estelle lunged toward the booking room area window, running to a waiting getaway car in the lot and clearing the scene on July 28, 2013, amassing a staggering list of charges, including aggravated robbery, burglary, theft, breaking and entering, fleeing, and almost 20 others. He and all the other conspirators were caught less than a month later. Keeping with the theme, but getting a little slicker, this nonchalant escape comes in at number 3. 31-year-old Tory Chi Smith, a freshly booked New Orleans parish jail inmate, took a similar approach to escape, albeit a little more relaxed. While being processed into the system on aggravated battery charges involving a domestic dispute with her boyfriend, she up and just left the jail's intake and processing center by telling officers she was going to use the washroom, instead waltzing through 2 steel doors left unsecured and unlocked by a passing officer who had failed to lock them behind him just moments before. Noticing he'd been careless, she took the opportunity and casually strolled out, running through the parking lot and scaling the outer fence. Although she was captured, her calm yet quick demeanor lands this escapee high on our list for brevity alone. This repeat escapee comes in at number 2. Rocky Marquez, 2-timing escape artist and charged criminal with drug trafficking ties, used a fairly clever identity technique to evade authorities. The 34-year-old escaped the first time in Maricopa County, Arizona by shaving his head, changing clothes, and switching ID cards with another inmate scheduled for release. His nationwide manhunt led to a capture in Detroit, where he once again used the identical tactic to escape from the Wayne County facility he was then transferred to. Although his clever ruse got him home free twice before, He now faces a deep mound of legal charges and will likely be behind bars for a much longer time than he started off with. And finally, coming in at number 1, the ever-elusive El Chapo. The notorious Mexican drug lord and cartel leader, Joaquin Guzman, commonly known as El Chapo, may be one of the craziest escapees of all time. Described by the US government as the most dangerous drug trafficker of all time, he was sentenced to 20 years in a maximum security prison in 1993. However, in 2001, he bribed prison guards and escaped via a laundry cart. He was finally tracked down in 2014 and transferred to a maximum security prison in Mexico. However, on July 11, 2015, Guzman escaped once again, this time by using a mile-long tunnel dug underground at the base of his shower stall. Equipped with everything from artificial light, air vents, and even a motorcycle, believed to be used to transport materials back and forth, and eventually Guzman himself. Due to the loud sound of the tunnel's construction, it is believed that corruption was once again at play. Regardless, El Chapo's persistent and amazing escapes land him our top spot. Thank you for watching Interesting Top 7s. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, comment, and subscribe for new videos every week.